Hello, hello. I'm super excited to be here with all of you this evening and have this important conversation around mental health and self-care. Because as student athletes, you have so much pressure and expectations on you. There's so much pressure externally from your coaches and your teammates and your family members, but you also have a lot of pressure that you put on yourself as well. And a lot of times that pressure can feel overwhelming and daunting, and it can affect your athletic and academic performance. So often we go through our day and we get asked the question, how are you? And when we get asked that question, our immediate response is to say that we're good or fine or okay, even if it's the worst day of our lives, even if it feels like everything is falling and crumbling apart. So I really want to challenge all of you right now to ask yourself honestly, how am I doing in this moment? Because I struggled with my mental health for most of my life, but I really struggled in silence because I was terrified of being labeled as anything other than perfect. I grew up with a perfectionist mindset, and I told myself that if I wasn't going to be the best, that I was going to be a failure. I also grew up really believing the stigma around mental health problems. I grew up believing that if I talked about what I was going through, that I would be labeled as weak. And I couldn't let the world see me as anything other than perfect. So instead, I struggled and struggled in silence for most of my life. We're often hearing things like to suck it up or that we're weak if we struggle with our mental health. And we don't want to be labeled with those negative terms as student athletes. We want the world to see us as strong. And so we often do turn to struggle in silence. And that's exactly what I did. We're taking care of ourselves in the off season and we're training in the off season. We're making sure that we're eating healthy. So that 15% we have down pat, we're working hard on our physical health, but we're often forgetting to nurture our mental health. And in order to be fully healthy and to reach the goals that we have for ourselves athletically and academically and personally, we have to take care of ourselves with our minds and our bodies. We have to pour into our mental health the same way we do our physical health. Talking about what you're going through is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Because you recognize that you want and deserve more and you can't do that alone. And that is more than okay. So you want to recognize that what you're going through matters. So whatever it is, no matter how big or small it seems to you or to somebody else, it matters. So maybe you're stressed out about all the things you have to manage on your plate as a student athlete. Maybe you're thinking about what happens next for you after college, or you have an injury. Whatever it is that's bothering you, we want to identify that, and then identify how much it's bothering you from 0 to 10, with 10 being the most intense. The reason why you want to do that is because self-care isn't going to always fix your problem. If you go and you take a walk or you listen to music, that big competition is still going to be there. So it's not always about taking away that stressful situation, but it's about giving yourself the tools to have the grace and the space to move through that problem a little bit easier. And that's really what we want to do, and that's what this tool can do, is help you to maybe go from a 10 of being the most intense to an 8 or a 7, and that can allow you to be more productive and effective at that activity you're doing, like practice or a competition. Maybe you're like me, and when you're struggling, your brain loves to tell you that you're alone or that nobody's going to understand. If your brain tells you that, that is the furthest thing from the truth, because there is always someone who wants to help you through your struggle. There's always someone who wants to try to understand what you're going through. You are never alone in what you're going through. So know that you can use your voice to reach out for help. And knowing that that is the strongest thing you can do to say, I'm not okay and I need help.
Personally, for me, I struggle with my own mental battles constantly. So I think a lot of what was talked about today, different coping mechanisms, really was something that I can take back to the room and just work on for myself.
I'm Amelia. Hi. I'm a women's lacrosse player here. I enjoyed the speech because it was really touching with her talking about the pressure of performance and how to combat it and how to kind of turn that into something of a calmer state of mind so you can perform better.
My name's Jason and I'm the athletic director. And I couldn't be more pleased with Ivy this evening. I think she did a great job connecting with our student athletes. The energy that she showed was phenomenal to keep the group engaged. And I love how contagious she was. And certainly talking to all of our young men and women about a really relevant topic in today's day and age with student athletes. I would recommend her to anybody. We're happy that she was here today, and she did a phenomenal job, and couldn't be happier.